It's not every day that we get a truly new film stock to shoot, especially in both 35mm and 120 formats. Especially one that is quite high quality, having a good dynamic range, and surprisingly punchy and delicious colors for something so new. More recently, we've gotten some Phoenix 2 and some other films, but they've been quite contrasty and experimental to say the least. Additionally, over the past year, we've seen tons of different respooled versions of Vision 3, as well as some more niche secret film stocks that I've shot for the channel. Well, today we're taking a look at OptiColour 200, a new film stock in collaboration with Innovisco, coming out of Germany from Optik Oldschool. Well, if you guys have been following the channel and staying along for film news, well, you probably know the basics of what this film already is, but hopefully you'll be as pleasantly surprised as I was with how it actually looks. But regardless, this is a sign to like and subscribe to stay tuned with more film news coming up in the future. So first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What is this film? You guys know I'm pretty hard-nosed when it comes to transparency about what film stocks are, so seeing that the owners of Optik Oldschool, Wolfen, and Innovisco are being a totally open book about this is great. At the end of 2023, Wolfen announced NC200, a new emulsion from Wolfen, but as of now, they only offer NC400 and 500, two pretty similar washed-out films that, to be honest, up until this point, I haven't really fallen in love with. Well, like I said, NC200 is not technically out yet. We haven't really got a release date or any new information on it, to be completely honest, but Innovisco, the manufacturing company that creates the film emulsion, approached Optik Oldschool, the lab out of Germany, and basically both were interested in coating 120 rolls of this NC200. The best part about it is that the film has an orange base, which makes it much easier for labs and home scanners for scanning, especially compared to their last batch, which was a green base, which is just a lot harder for scanning, especially home scanners. Now, before we dive more into it, show examples, talk about the price, etc., it is worth noting that when it comes to manufacturing large, bulk, new film like this, there's bound to be issues that come with the film. Just like Harman's Phoenix and the new Lucky C200 film, we're seeing the same things on this film, which I'll cover more towards the end, but honestly, it's really not a huge deal breaker for me at all. As of now, both 35mm and 120 are being sold for $12, which is right in line with some of Kodak's professional film. Otherwise, enough of the yapping. Let's show you the film, show you some of the photos, and get to it. I shot all of this film while I was up in the Grand Teton, so some of it may look familiar if you saw the Phoenix 2 video. Otherwise, I was camping there with a buddy and got up real early, making our way to Schwambacher Lake for a sunrise at an epic landscape location. Here I moved up the road to shoot with a friend, which I didn't get any clips of, but to me, these are some of the best photos. Finally, I ended the day with a nice long hike with some friends from home. So I actually lied. From here, I headed to my real final destination, which was another little cabin just outside of the national park. Now that we're back home, I got the film back, I got the negatives back, I got all the scans back and edited. Honestly, I'm quite impressed to say the least. Like I said earlier, I've never been super impressed by Wolfen's color films, but this film, especially in medium format, looks genuinely incredible. In contrast to the more experimental look of Phoenix 2, this OptiColour replicates something out of Kodak's professional lineup much more closely, which for me lines up much better with my shooting subject matter and style. I did notice that the highlights tend to be quite warm, while the shadows tend to slide more into the cool tones, but I think it gives for a nice punchy, contrasty photo with a deep array of colors. Yet it's not too saturated where portraits get weird or alien-like. Like I said, I'm thoroughly impressed. I also noticed it has quite nice dynamic range, especially after shooting exclusively Phoenix 2 for almost a month. Otherwise, the film on 120 is quite sharp, but both 35mm and 120 have a good amount of grain, which isn't necessarily the worst thing. I mean, we are shooting film after all. For what it's worth, I think the 120 looks a lot better, which I don't know, might just be my medium format supremacy showing. Otherwise, I think the grain structure and colors just seem to work better on medium format, which isn't surprising to me. I don't know, like I said, 120 film tends to just look better in general, and this film is a testament to that in my mind. Not saying the 35mm is bad by any means, but the 120 is just cleaner and a bit more forgiving, it feels like. The film also has a bit of halation, which was one of the big issues they ran into in manufacturing the film. Now, it's not super crazy or anything, but it is noteworthy, especially if it's something that you want to avoid when shooting this. Mostly those glowing highlights in the really bright sections of the film. The second thing, due to the same issue with the anti-halation layer, there are some small dots scattered throughout some of the frames. Again, nothing huge or in my opinion, earth-shattering, or really even that noticeable, but again, something they're noting on their site, and yeah, I think it's good that they're being this transparent. I just pretty easily spot healed all these little marks out of my film, so it really wasn't a big deal for me. With that being said, the coating issue has been fixed for this next batch, which I'm assuming is the one that's for sale now on their site, depending on when the editing of this goes out. So definitely check them out in the description below. Also, Kyle McDougall did a great review on this film and did an exposure test showing that it is quite forgiving, especially in the highlights, so definitely check out his video, as well as Pushing Films, as both these guys have really great examples of the film stock. Before we talk about the verdict, let's take a moment to thank the sponsor, Kodak Backpacks. They sent me this really cool exoskeleton backpack a while ago, but I had just broken my leg and hadn't really had a chance to really test it out. While I was just up in the Grand Tetons, I was able to actually use it, and it's quite an interesting backpack to say the least. It has a firm exoskeleton and a detachable 300-watt power station. For me, it's been perfect when I've been traveling and overlanding, being able to charge all my camera gear on the go. It also has a solar panel, which is super nice for longer trips. The bag has tons of different camera compartments, which fits all my film cameras and filming gear. It also has these cool arms, which is used for filming or lighting when hiking. I personally haven't used them yet, but they do seem quite cool. It also comes with tons of accessory bags and different other things, making it the ultimate modular, modern camera backpack. I'm really stoked to take this up in the mountains this fall and really test it to its limits, as well as all my camera gear. Otherwise, thank you Kodak for the sponsorship, and let's get back to the video. Otherwise, what's my verdict of the film? Well, I'm quite shocked at how much I actually like it, to be totally honest. Like I said before, I've shot and seen photos from Wolfen's color lineup and have never been super impressed with it, so didn't really think that this NC200 would do anything for me, I guess. Like I said, really surprised, especially when it comes to medium format. At this point, when it comes to choosing a film stock, if I'm not testing something out for a video for the channel, I'm shooting either gold, portrait, or Ektar almost all the time. I like the consistent, maybe boring results versus shooting more saturated or wacky film stocks. At the end of the day, I like the look these films give me, especially with dynamic range for landscapes, so why run the risk of something weird? Even with Phoenix 2, which I really enjoyed, it was a bit experimental and lacked a lot of the dynamic range needed for the type of photography that I end up doing the most, which when compared to this OptiColour, I actually really like this quite a bit more. There's way more consistency to it, there's more dynamic range, more natural yet pastel-y colors. Like I said before, the highlights tend to be a little warm, where the shadows tend to be cooler, which gives just a punchy, unique look to the film. All for the sacrifice of a little grain, which personally I'm totally cool with. Needless to say, I'm stoked on this film and on the photos that I've got, so yeah, I'm excited to shoot more of this in the future, and I really do think that this will probably be a mainstay for me for shooting film in the future, especially with the medium format. It looks amazing through the Mamiya 7, so yeah, I'm really stoked on it, and I really hope that I can convey that to you guys, and hopefully gets you excited for the film. Hopefully you'll pick some up and try some for yourself. Like I've alluded to in all the videos, anytime we get new film, especially an authentic new emulsion in a format that's not available anywhere else, well, that's always a great day. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay shooting. Till the next one, adios.